Effort is between you and you. I ain't the fastest. I ain't the biggest. I ain't the strongest. Never have been. But Lord be my witness. I've never met a man in my life that'll flat out outwork me. I got to fight my fight. It's about fighting our fight. 2005, I had one of the most tragic injuries ever. And I couldn't help my team. You got to get behind them, and it ain't about wins or losses, it's about loyalty. It's about understanding, I'm gonna make the play or I'm gonna watch the play be made. It's simple. It's if I can tell my safety, you cover this because I'm going this time. It's a man on a man every time we play the game. It'll never change. It's about winning one-on-one battles. Fight your fight. It's our fight to fight. 1 and 6 doesn't define who you are. What defines who you are is what you do when you 1 and 6. What the man you will fight for. Give everything you got today, not because of the scoreboard, but because when this game ends, you'll have a brother to call for life. Remember, you gave everything you had. That's why no matter what nobody on the outside says, fight your fight.
People can't do just anything to you. Life can't do just anything to you. I don't care how little you are, there is nothing as powerful as a trained mind. I changed my mind. I changed my default setting. I'm going to stop falling back into the same thing over and over again so that I can have a new normal. As long as you're programmed with what you can't do and what you can't be and what you can't have, you will never get up. But I dare you to go into your phone booth like Clark Kent and spin around and come out Superman and say, wait a minute, I'm better than this. When it's no longer your normal, you will never go back to it like it used to have you. Because the moment you get out of the situation, you change back into who you're supposed to be. Both the pig and the sheep can fall into the same mud, but the difference is in the default. The pig is defaulted to lack the mud. The sheep has a default that says, I don't belong in this mess. I might be in this mess, but I don't belong. I gotta get out of here.
What makes you such a good fighter?
It's in my head 24/7. There's nothing else I can think. I don't think about nothing else. And that's it. I'm just curious, curiously fascinated with it, and I can't stop thinking about it. Everything I do in my life is related to this. I don't do nothing else if it's not got to do with fighting. You know what I mean? And that is why. You know what I mean? To be true. All you've got to do is show up.
Is that not unhealthy?
To me, what's unhealthy is living an unhealthy life. To me, what's unhealthy is getting up and going through the same day every day you like, 9 to 5 in an office or in a, you know what I mean? That's unhealthy. That beats your mind. I don't work. I love what I do, and that's why I'm doing what I love. You know what I mean? That's why it's become a career for me, because I love it. I love what I do. So I don't think it's unhealthy. I feel good in my mind. I mean, it's my life.
First time riding an airplane, I was a senior going to a football game, and I went in the restroom on the airplane, and as I was washing my hands, there was a sign on the wall. And as I was walking out of the restroom, the sign said, as common courtesy to the person that's coming behind you, can you wipe the sink out and leave it better than you found it? And I said, as common courtesy to the generation that is coming behind me in life, everything that I touch, everything that I'm a part of, I vow to God that I will leave it better than I found it.
You have to have a reason for waking up every day. Just put one foot in front of the other. And there will be times where you will be down. But in order to get there, tomorrow may be harder than today. But it has to be a never-ending task. When you get to point A, you'll be going to point B. And you'll never reach the level that you want to reach until you breathe your last breath. And that's where people mess up. That's where people give up when they reach a certain level in life, when they're satisfied. Never be satisfied. Go beyond your dreams. Go beyond your goals. and you will inspire the world by just being you.
Like, I get thousands of emails a week. How do I find my passion? And literally I reply, I don't know. I don't. I would tell you, my punchline is, what would you do if you could just do it all the time? I actually do that.
See, anybody can, whether you will or not. See, that's the question. We are all buying somebody's plan. The question is, whose? Who's got you talked into doing what you're doing? But see, anybody, if you want to, can go searching for a good plan, pick it, and start working it. And sure enough, as the time passes, as it surely will 5 years from now, 10 years from now, then you'll be winding up wearing what you want to wear, driving what you want to drive, living where you want to live, become what you want to become. But now's the time to fix the next 10 years. And who can? Anybody.
Imagine, if you will, being on your deathbed and standing around your bed, the ghost of the dreams, the ideas, the abilities, the talents given to you by life, and that you, for whatever reason, you never went after that dream. You never acted on those ideas. You never used those talents. You never used those gifts. And there they are standing around your bed looking at you with large angry eyes saying, we came to you and only you could have given us life. And now we must die with you forever. And the question is, if you died today, what dreams, what ideas, what talents, what books, what music, what leadership, what voice will die with you? What if you live your whole life only to discover that it was wrong? That it was wrong. That you were chosen to do something else and you didn't do it.
Continue to do those things that you know that work for you after you have evaluated yourself in the situation. Continue to move. Stay busy, stay busy, stay busy. Find somebody that you can help so you can forget about you for a moment. See, sometimes the best thing to do is to be. Sometimes you have to just back up and go within yourself. A bow and arrow, you can't take a bow and just push it out an arrow. You just can't push the arrow out. You have to pull it back and then release it. Sometimes you have to back up and go within and pray and meditate and recharge your batteries. Go away, clear your head, and then come back and look at it from a different vantage point. Don't operate while you are under the spell or the effect of what's going on. Next thing is that you've got to activate the thinker in you. Don't allow your emotions to control you. We are emotional, but you want to begin to discipline your emotion. If you don't discipline and contain your emotions, they will use you. Your mind goes on automatic. You don't have to force yourself or motivate yourself to think negatively, to be depressed, to hate somebody, to want revenge, to want to get back at somebody, to beat yourself up over the head, to feel loaded with guilt. You don't have to make any effort to do that. Your mind is on automatic. It will do that by itself. But if you want to begin to move into your own personal greatness, if you want to begin to really enjoy a happy, successful, healthy life, you've got to be willing to go against the tide. You've got to be willing to harness your will and say, in spite of this, I'm in control here. I'm not going to let this get me down. I'm not going to let this destroy me. I'm coming back. And I'll be stronger and better because of it. You have got to make a declaration that this is what you stand for. You're standing up for your dreams. You're standing up for peace of mind. You're standing up for health. You want it. And you're going to go all out to have it. It's not going to be easy. When you want to change, it's not easy. If it were in fact easy, everybody would do it. But if you're serious, you'll go all out. Yes, I'm going to turn this situation around. I'm not going to sit back and moan and cry over what happened and what went wrong and who did what. I'm going to do something about this situation. The next thing that is important is that expect things to get better for you, because they are. See, life is cyclic. You're not, whatever experience you're having right now, it has not come to stay. It has come to pass. Not to stay, just to pass. It's just going through. The biggest challenge is to know what's happening. This is a part of this thing we call life. This too shall pass. And maintaining perspective, putting it in perspective. See, a lot of us, because of our limited vision of ourselves, a lot of us who begin to focus on problems and enable them to overwhelm us, we begin to think that we have no options. We begin to believe that there's no way out. There's always a way. Where there's a will, there's a way. I'm unstoppable. You've got to make those kind of declarations to yourself. I'm unstoppable. This will not get me down. And if I get knocked down, I'm going to be like Leo Pascal. You said you're going to have some low moments in life, but when you do, you will have high lows when you work on yourself. What are some of those things that you can do during this period of time? Go for walks. Do some things for you. Just go for a stroll so you can engage in some reflective thinking on life, on yourself, looking and enjoying the universe, smelling the roses along the way. Because you're going to have sometimes low moments when you won't want to get out of bed. You just want to stay there. At times you won't want to come out the house. At times you'll be feeling bad and don't know why. What's wrong? I don't know. It's necessary, as you look at your goals and your dreams, it's necessary that you have a strategy and a game plan to change the story that you believe about yourself. And that's an ongoing process. I've discovered, and many people have, that what we do, what we accomplish, what we produce is a result of the story we believe about ourselves. My favorite book says, be ye not conformed to this world, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. And so as I began to work on myself, I realized that I'm getting out of one story and stepping into another story. As I become aware of some things, there's still some things I'm not aware of. So I'm still growing, I'm still developing. I'm like the lady who said, Lord, I ain't what I want to be, ain't what I'm going to be, but thank God I sure ain't what I was. But I realized that you have to work on yourself on a regular basis, and write this down, for mental mindset. For mental mindset and stamina. Because things are going to happen to you. I believe that the reason that most people go to their graves with their talents and abilities and skills in them is because of the fact, number one, many are like me. They didn't know that they didn't know and thought they knew. I thought I knew myself, and I really didn't know myself as well as I thought. I've discovered that sometimes people can take you to a place within yourself that you can't go by yourself. The other reason is I was afraid. I never worked for a major corporation. I wanted to speak for corporations. I was afraid I would be exposed because I don't have a college education. I felt inferior because of the fact that I don't have a college education. I allowed that level of fear of failure to stop me. And because I never had any experience in it, I assumed that I could not do it. I was paralyzing myself by believing and assuming the limited part of myself as opposed to believing that I had something special. You have something special. There's something you want to do. Because you don't know how to do it doesn't mean that you can't learn. I like something that I heard. You don't have to be great to get started, but you have to get started to be great.
We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, therefore, is not an act, but a habit. Meaning excellence isn't some one-time thing I do. I'm either a person of excellence or I'm not. Excellence is a habit. It's what's coming out of me without even me thinking about it. What do you do when you don't know what to do? You do your habits.
Happy habits are as addicting as bad habits, but they're a whole lot more rewarding. There aren't the negatives that are given to bad habits. Now, bad habits take some time to develop. You don't develop them overnight. And the same thing with good habits. You don't develop them overnight. But happiness and the habits of happiness can be developed so that they become habitual in your life?
In your life, you create the atmosphere. Have you ever noticed that emotions create atmospheres? If somebody's sad, you walk into the room and you feel that sadness. If somebody, for example, is angry, if they're upset about something, without a word being said, they project from their spirit into the atmosphere of a room a negative feeling just from the anger that they possess. When you understand that, you have to ask the question, what is the atmosphere of your life?
You see, a crisis, before it creates habits, it exposes habits. Difficult times, before it defines something that you're doing, it just exposes who you already are. And the problem with difficult times is difficult times make bad habits worse. So they just get worse. It's amazing right now because so many of us, bad habits are coming out of us. I see so many bad habits in this crisis. I see myself at times being tempted to fall into bad habits. Bad habit. This is the bad habit you see right now in the world right now. Approval seekers. Listen to me. If you live for people's approval, you will die by their rejection.
And see, this is so critical because some of us don't like what we're getting in our life. And we don't like the way our relationships flow. We don't like the way our bodies look, and we don't like the way our bodies feel. And we don't like the way that we go running around from this thing to that thing, and we don't like the way that our lives are constantly feeling empty. That's the product. So if you don't like that product, you can hate the product all you want. But the problem is not the product. The problem is the pattern. I'm coming after your excuses. Because so often, we want to blame the tree for the fruit that's not there. We want to blame circumstances for the way things are. We want to blame genetics for the reason we're kind of fat. We got all these problems. All these problems. But folks, might I suggest that the problem isn't what they did to you, what they said to you, what they didn't do for you. The problem is the pattern of your response. It's the pattern. Let's change the pattern. What kind of people do you have around you? That's what creates the atmosphere of your life. Are they negative or are they positive? Are they faith-filled or are they fear-filled? Because the people around you create the atmosphere of your life.
Don't look for happiness. Create it. Happiness is not something you look for. Happiness is something you create, and it's your choice. You're as happy as you choose to be. Happiness is not a goal. Happiness is not a goal. It's actually the result of right thinking, right living, right acting. It's the byproduct. If you make happiness the goal of your life, you're going to live a very self-centered life. And that's going to end up making you miserable. Making happiness the goal of your life will guarantee that you're never going to be happy. Happiness is never the goal. It is always the result. It's always the byproduct of something else.
Sometimes, because the battle is taking longer than we thought, we become weary. When the difficulty is lasting longer than expected, we're working hard but not seeing increase, weariness will come. If the enemy can't take you out all at once, his next strategy is to try to wear you down. Many people are suffering from battle fatigue. They've been standing a long time, trying to break the addiction, believing for the promotion, but it hasn't happened yet. They never dreamed they'd still be single, still be dealing with the illness, still be trying to get the loan. Now they're tired. Don't get weary in well-doing. That means you're doing the right thing, but not seeing right results. Does it seem like it's making a difference? Let me encourage you, your time is coming. Your due season is on the way. Don't let time talk you out of it. Don't let discouragement cause you to give up. Don't let negative thoughts convince you to settle where you are.
My habits create my happiness. Happiness is a choice. We shape our habits and then they shape us. And we're going to look at this in detail in this new series, how we shape our habits and then our habits shape us. And you can create the habits of happiness in your life. Happiness based on happenings is temporary, but happiness built on habits is long-lasting. I go to Disneyland, I'm happy. I come out, realize how much money I spent, I'm not happy. I have the happiness of going to see a movie everybody's telling me is great. It's not so great. I come out not happy, disappointed. Anything where you base your happiness on a happening, on a circumstance, on an occasion, as soon as the occasion's over, you lose your happiness. So you don't want that. Happiness based on happenings is short term. It's temporary. Happiness based on habits is long term.
The key to enduring is found in what you do daily. So I suppose the simple question today is, what are you doing daily? Because whatever you do daily determines who you become permanently. That's just a word for you. You've got to understand that. We have to understand that every single day, our routine is defining the person I am becoming. If you don't like what you're getting today, then you're gonna have to do something different tomorrow than what you did today. See, you have to change your routine in order to change your life. What I'm doing daily is creating my habits.
The reason why most people don't make it, because they focus more on their distractions rather than their destiny. People that are hungry, they don't care. They're focused on what they need to do to be here. They're going to keep social distancing from not only the virus and people and social situations. They're going to limit themselves, leaving the house, leaving only when it's necessary, and social distancing from negative, toxic energy, unproductive people. You want to make it now, you want to get around the right people virtually.
You were not born to be defeated. You were not born to be depressed and discouraged permanently. You were not born to be destroyed by the things that come against your life, whether it's abuse, whether it's addiction. I'm not denying that temporarily things will seem to triumph and trample you. But I'm telling you that that is not your destiny and that is not your future, because you were born to win.
Our words are setting the direction for our lives. If you want to know what you're going to be like 5 years from now, listen to what you're saying about yourself. Well, I'll never get well. I'll never meet the right person. You are prophesying your future. You can't speak defeat and have victory. You can't speak lack and struggle and have abundance.
You can win without people. You can win without provision. You can even win without direction. But you cannot win without willpower. You need some willpower in your life. You need to get your will back. You need your drive back. You need your want to back. You need your I'm gonna do it come hell or high water. I can't be stopped because my purpose is serious. Get your will back. Everybody shout, I will cross over. I will get over that memory. I will see a victory. I will be significant. I will.
You will eat the fruit of your words. Pay attention to what you're saying about yourself, your family, your finances, your health. You're going to become what you're continually saying. That's why it's so important to get in a habit of speaking victory over your life.
There's always more inside of you than you know. You're stronger than you think that you are. And the struggle of today is producing the strength I need tomorrow. If we want to grow stronger, we have to get comfortable with exposing our weakness. Because the reality of it is, is the only way that I can get strong is when I get comfortable in confronting my weakness, exposing my weakness, getting vulnerable with my weakness. Going into that workout that day, I was embarrassed, I was afraid, I was concerned. I didn't think I could do it, but I actually had to come in and face the weakness inside of me that I might encounter the strength that I have yet to discover. See, strength doesn't come from what you can do. It comes from overcoming the things you thought that you couldn't do.
You were born to win. And in the end, even though momentarily it will look like the dream is finished, your life is not going to be anything worth celebrating. It'll look like a troop has trampled you, we would say, in the ground. But in the end, you'll triumph. In the end, you'll win.
I'm still scared, but it doesn't have to stop me. So what I'm saying is, not that I won't feel fear, not that I won't have questions, but I won't stop. I won't stop. I won't stop. That's what I won't do. I won't stop. I won't back down. I will not give in. I will not surrender. I will not give away my joy. I will not give away my peace. It's too expensive. You can't have it. It's too valuable. It's the only treasure I've got.
Let everything you say be good and helpful so that your words will be an encouragement to those that hear them. One person that hears your words is you. They go out of your mouth and back into your own ears. If you hear them long enough, they'll take root in your spirit. You believe what you say about yourself more than what anyone else says. And there's nothing more powerful than you speaking victory over your own life.
Yes, you're going to face a lot of setbacks and a lot of hits, and I'm just telling you the truth. But let me let you know that it's not going to end with a troop trampling you down to the ground. There will be, at times, a severe struggle. But in the end, you will win. In the end, you will get back up. You were born to overcome. You were born to win.
It may not happen overnight, but you have to keep speaking victory. Keep calling yourself healthy. Keep declaring those dreams are coming to pass. Although a ship is large and driven by strong winds, it is steered by a small rudder wherever the pilot wants it to go. It's the same way with the tongue. Even though it's a small part of the body, it's steering your life. What you're saying is determining which direction you go. The good news is you have control over the rudder. You control your tongue. Are you sending your words out in the direction you want your life to go?
I think we all like to win. I'm not sure we all like the preparation that it takes to be a winner. John Wooden, my mentor, who was the incredible coach for the UCLA Bruins when they won 10 national championships, Sports Illustrated said he was the greatest coach of the last century. I asked him one day, I said, "Coach, what do you miss most about coaching?" And he said, "The practices." Isn't it interesting? I said, "You not the games?" He said, No. He said, "Our practice determined how we played the game." He said, "By the time the game day came, I just sat there on the bench with my rolled up program in my hand and kind of laid back and let my team play." He said, "We prepared for that game. We practiced for that game." He said, I miss the practices. I miss the process of doing what we needed to do so that we could get to where we needed to go."
If you believe in what you're doing, that's fuel. It adds more fuel to your fire. You gotta keep going, you gotta keep pushing through, you gotta keep persevering. Because at the end of the day, when you do, and you do, and you do more, you will be amazed at how the universe conspires to help you get to the place that you wanted to get to. So believe in you, block out the shade, and let your sun shine on through. Because it's on you to be you. Some of y'all are way too old to be acting brand new.
And I thought to myself, oh my gosh, what an incredible formula for winning. What an incredible formula for success. Anybody can be good once in a while. You got to really practice if you want to win all the time. John Wooden knew that practice was the key to winning.
And that's the mindset that each and every one you have to have when you're trying to do something. I don't care if it's friends, family, I don't care what it is, business, on your job. You have to believe you can get the promotion. You have to believe you can get the right soulmate. You have to believe that your job can go to another level. Your business can go to another level. Because you think you can't, but I'm telling you to your face, yes, you can too. You got the power to make them doubters and haters out now believe in you.
Tell me one thing in your life that is great that came as a result of being comfortable. Because everywhere I look and everywhere I see in today's society, everybody's doing everything they can to be more comfortable. They're looking for the more convenience. They're looking for the quicker. They're looking for the faster. See, there's opportunity in that for those of you that want to get better. Because I'm going to tell you right now, all the reasons that these successful people that you look up to, that you aspire to be like, are the way they are, have all come from a place of being uncomfortable.
We do not retreat. We do not give up. We do not surrender. And the reason why most of you are not successful is because every single time stuff not going your way, you give up, you quit, you let go, and people feel weakness. They feel it. You can feel when somebody's not committed.
Understand that when you're trying to avoid the pain, when you're trying to avoid the struggle, when you're trying to avoid the hard things, you are actively choosing to be average. You are actively choosing to be mediocre. And you are actively choosing to move further away from what you want in life.
When they're not all in, when they're not dedicated, and there's another level you get to when you go all in. Look at your belief system every single day and stick with it. Don't rush the process, trust the process. Don't rush the process, trust the process.
You guys have got to believe in yourself. Headstrong, mentally tough. It's the only way through the bullshit here in life. Winners, the difference between them and the spectators is the winners have a belief that overrides the crowd's disbelief every single time. There's no excuse for not being the hardest worker. Yeah, someone might be bigger, stronger, faster, quicker, younger, whatever else, but there is no excuse to not be the hardest fucking worker there.
Because that hardship and that pain and that struggle, they give you the skills that will forge you into a motherfucking champion.
No longer are we gonna accept rhymes and society's rhyme the reason that we are average. Average is a weak mentality. We must believe it so much so that we're arrogant about it. We must be soft for excellence.
The easy route never pays well. The only route in life that pays well is the hard route.
You're working out, you want to die. Feel it happening in you. Feel the pain happening in your legs as you rep out one more squat. Because it'll be all the more pleasurable when you reach the inevitable other end of the spectrum where you're laying in your hammock, sipping on a protein shake. Boy, I really went hard. I really went hard on that set. I really went hard in school. I really went hard in my career. I really went hard in life. Go hard!
Hi, welcome back to Mind Control, where we inspire and motivate you. Hope you enjoy the video.
Are there any responsible people left in the world today? Who take on responsibility, people who feel responsible, people who have the responsibility to the point that you're looking back and you're checking around. What are you doing? Where are you doing? Who are you talking to? What's going on in your life? Responsible people will get on your nerves. Oh, yes. Responsible people will hold you accountable. Responsible people will ask you questions. You don't get to grunt at me and go to your room. I want to know what's going on. Responsibility. Don't have nothing you're not going to take care of. Don't have anything that you're not willing to invest in. Don't have anything that you're not going to focus on because you are accountable for whatever God has given you. You're accountable for it. Stop asking God for stuff you're not going to take care of. You don't need a house, you don't need a car, you don't need a child, you don't need a man, you don't need a woman, you don't need anything that you're not going to take care of. Everything you bring into your life requires something of your life. You say you don't have time to raise no man, and I don't have no time to be raising no one. Then don't get one. Don't get one. I don't have time for these children. Don't have one. I don't want to change the oil in the car. Don't buy one. I don't want to change the tires. Don't have a car. Everything you have requires something of you. What you have with you is more important than where you're going. I understand you got goals. I understand you got plans for 2021. I understand you got strategies. I understand you got purpose. I understand you got vision. But what you have with you is better and more important than where you are going. And if you lose what you got going after what you want, I said if you lose what you got going after what you want, your feast is going to turn into a disaster. What good is it to have a feast if it costs what I got going after what I want? That's what's wrong with us. Too many unscrupulous people are willing to sacrifice what you have to get what you want. The Bible says it this way: what does it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul?
Don't compromise, don't sell out. There were some things I went for back in those early years that I paid too big a price for. If I'd have known how much it was going to cost me, I never would have paid, but I didn't know. Don't sell out. Ancient phrase says, count costs. Count costs. An ancient story says Judas got the money. You say, well, that's a success story. No. It's true, 30 pieces of silver in those days was a sizable fortune. You say, well, if a guy's got a fortune, right, that's a success story. No, you don't understand. His name was Judas. Doesn't that ring a bell? Judas. You say, oh, yes, Judas, the traitor. That's right, the traitor got the money. Doesn't that change the story? And the answer is, of course, it changes the story. Interestingly enough, after Judas gets the money from becoming a traitor, he's got the money in his hot little hand, and now he's unhappy. Somebody says, well, if you had a fortune, how could you be unhappy? Well, he wasn't unhappy with the money. He was unhappy with himself. Key phrase: the greatest source of unhappiness is self-unhappiness. The greatest source of unhappiness doesn't come from outside. The greatest source of unhappiness comes from inside. And here's where the erosion starts, doing a little less than you could. So don't let that happen. Judas is unhappy. He says, what'll I do? He says, oh, I'll just take the money back. Walked in where he got the money and said, here, take this money, I'm unhappy. They said, heck with you, Judas, we got what we wanted, you got what you wanted, out. They threw him out with his money. Judas says, well, what'll I do now? He says, oh, clever, should have thought of this first. I'll just throw the money away. And he proceeded to throw his fortune away. Why would he throw his fortune away? He was so unhappy with himself. That's not even the end of the scenario. After he threw his fortune away, he couldn't change what he became, a traitor. And now, in total abject frustration, he goes out and hangs his worthless self, which all traitors should do, save the state. Why such a tragic end? Because he was so unhappy with himself. He sold out. He paid too big a price. Ancient script sums it all up. It said, what if you gained the whole world and it cost you your soul? Too big a price to pay if you got the whole world. Don't sell out. Don't compromise your values. Don't compromise your virtues. Don't compromise your philosophy. Here's the key word: beware. If Judas could speak back, he'd probably say, beware. Beware. Don't sell out. Mark well what you become in pursuit of what you want. But I'm inspiring you, hopefully, to set the kind of goals that will transform your life. Make you far better than you are, far stronger than you are.
What does it mean for you to advance economically if you lose your soul? What does it mean for you to end up running the business if you lose your soul? What does it mean to have a bigger house if you lose your soul? What does it mean to collect more degrees if you lose your soul? I want you to value what you have, not just what you're going to. But we have an age of people that have no appreciation for what they have. They're so excited about where they're going that they have lost sight of what they have. They fall into the fallacy of failure of reasoning, which makes an argument invalid. They had a failure of reasoning, that this is more important than that. Somebody is wrestling with a decision. And the Lord sent me here to tell you that this is more important than that. What you got right now is better than anything you're trying to go after in your life. It may not look good right now. It may not seem valuable right now. It may seem unimportant right now. It may not seem consequential. It may not seem relevant. It may not seem majestic. It may not seem central to what you're trying to create in your life, but give it some time. What has God placed inside of you that you don't think is particularly important because you have evaluated it premature and created a fallacy? Because what God has given you needs time to grow up. It needs time to grow up. Despise not the day of small beginnings. But it's gonna grow. It's gonna grow. What God has given you is going to grow. It's going to grow, not just to bless you, but to bless you and your children and your children's children and your children's children's children. I heard somebody in the spirit say, it's too late for me, I'm too old. Baby girl, it ain't about you. What God has for you is going to affect generation after generation after generation after generation. So endure whatever you got to endure. Endure. I spent 10 years of my life driving over an hour back and forth to pastor 20 people, 10 people for 10 years, an entire decade. Nobody called me to be on CNN or CBN or TVN or NNN or ANN or nothing. 10 years! For 10 years, I scuffled, struggled, and it would have been easy to throw up my hands and say, this doesn't work. What have you got that's gonna be amazing? But you're trying to rush the process, and you don't understand that God had a plan for your life, and it may have even included you going through a period of abandonment to create a thirst in you for God in a way that you would not otherwise have that thirst for Him. You have to be able to translate the bad into good, the oil into fire, the pain into purpose. You have to be able to translate it, but some people get stuck in the pain of it and they never get to the power and the purpose of it, and they can't translate it.
We'd like to thank you so much for watching till the end. Don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments section. Please also like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends and families. Please watch our other motivational videos. Thank you again.